What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 387. It is another fine Sunday of gaming, and we are back to talk about all things gaming and the industry. As always, I am your host, Ainsley Bowden, joined by my two co-patriots here, including the nodding tie guy, Travis. You know him as the most prolific reviewer in IGN's long-tenured history. We're going with it, Travis. Roll with it. Who
can prove us wrong?
Yeah, exactly. There's no history out there. And, who has had to reiterate many times that a 7 means the game is terrible. So how you doing, my friend?
People do get confused on that point. They think it's decent or maybe worthy of play. And Travis has to tell them that a 7 should be thrown directly into the bin.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Trash.
My name's Paul Tassi, and I'm here to tell you that 7s are garbage.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah. I mean, sleepy as usual. You know how I go hard the night before we do this show.
Yes,
refuse to stop, baby.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm doing good. Can't stop, won't stop. Cannot stop. I'm not allowed to stop and won't stop. Therefore, I'm doing good. Nice to see y'all.
We've got some sadly pretty more serious things to talk about this week, but here we go anyway. And of course, the hashtag Hung Hoagie is with us. How we doing, my friend? I hear you have some time on your hands for plenty of Hoeg's notes.
I do. I've had some Hoeg's notes time because my family has all abandoned me to celebrate Father's Day. They are on a road trip across America. They are seeing the sights of our great country to go to parts unknown. And I'm by myself for a couple weeks just hanging on, feeding bearded dragons, and talking with you fine folks in between video game sessions. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be...
bearded dragons is a euphemism, by the way. Hoeg uses it quite often. So don't be surprised if you hear him feeding bearded dragons. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that definitely. I definitely didn't just put an entire group of roaches in for my bearded dragon.
Whoa.
Wow. That's an advanced euphemism, but I think we all know what it means.
That's a multi-day event.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Oh, you nuts. You nuts, dude. You crazy for this one, dog.
Oh, okay. I did get a new phone, so I'm still learning how to make it silent. So I apologize for any interruptions you might have.
It didn't come through.
Okay, good to hear. Or not hear, as the case may be.
Well, happy Father's Day to you, Hoeg. And I feel it's an honor to be able to announce to our audience for the first time that Travis is going to be a father. He told us yesterday. He's very excited about it. Is it triplets? Is that what you're expecting?
I'm actually going to be father of the cosmos. So I will have 14 children, the Valar. So, yeah.
Is that a role you can take on later in life? I figured you were father of the cosmos from birth.
Look, we're all just dancing to Eru Iluvatar's symphony. So I do no more than he bids. You guys get it.
I love the references we have on the show that like 4 people get.
Probably. Yeah.
Now, you're going to have to confirm this for me. That's Elder Scrolls?
No, that is Tolkien. Lord of the Rings, my friend.
Maybe I just didn't understand your pronunciation.
And let me, before this gets away from us, I'm joking, everyone. There's a couple congrats in the chat.
Is there actually?
Travis is not having a kid.
Oh, no.
We joke with him about having a kid from time to time, but I think him and Dee are quite happy being kidless.
He is the father of ties. Cool. Let him be.
That's right. Yes. Ties are the only ties that bind me to my fellow man.
No, I think I was thinking Elder Scrolls because that's my favorite bit of lore in games is that like that world doesn't exist. Like we know it's a fiction, but it's like the dream of a god. And
yes. Actually, I guess Lord of the Rings has that in common. I don't know. But
it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they borrow a lot of stuff.
The universe is a song in Lord of the Rings.
I don't even think I knew that about Elder Scrolls.
You got to read some books.
Yeah, it is like a what is it? It's a god's dream or something, something like that, and very similar.
Dreamland the whole time.
Yeah, and it's very similarly in Middle Earth. Like the world of Arda is like it's called the Aina Lindale. It's like a song that the gods sang, and they sang the world and all of its events into existence. This is very deep lore for this early in the morning. I must say, this is pretty crazy. This is pretty wild.
Well, there you go, audience. You don't get that from a lot of shows. You know, Elder Scrolls and Tolkien lore.
Nor would you, to be clear.
Where else are you going to find that? Tune in next week for C.S. Lewis, Robert Heinlein, and more on the Bitcast.
Anyway, so this week we have obviously you see the thumbnail, the big conversation this week in the industry anyways around Xbox, and we want to kind of talk through some of the information that was reported this week, some of the rumors that are swirling, but more importantly really kind of talk about the source, which is Asha's memo out to the team. And we commented on it last week. Obviously a lot more swirled this week, and I think that this is one of those areas where the three of us and our varied experience in different places can offer a little insight into what to expect, and we'll see if we kind of align on what that looks like. But we'll be talking at length about that. We can finally get back to some of the games we've been playing and things we can recommend, because obviously with Summer Game Fest last week we kind of just focused on the shows, so we can get back to some of that. And I
have a proposal, Ains. Can we name that segment "What to Expect When You're Expecting Layoffs"?
Dude, I had the same joke, Hoeg.
Let's go, Travis.
Wow. Jumped in there first. Good for you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I literally, when you said, "Can I have a suggestion?" I was like, I've also got a joke here. And then you said my joke. Good for you.
Hey,
there you go.
I'm too tuned into your wavelength, Travis.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's good or scary. Yeah. It's a little of both, baby. Yeah. But anyway,
actually, it makes me a little self-conscious about my joke, right? He's not a trained comedian, which means I'm a hack. It's brutal.
I think I'm pretty witty from time to time.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Oh, sure.
That's good.
I waited until he drank. I was like, if I can nail this, we can get a spit take on camera. Not good. See, I am a hack. Fuck me.
There you go.
Spit take.
But yes, it is for those of us in the U.S. It is Father's Day here, so happy Father's Day to all the gents and fathers that hang out with us on Sundays, or that are part of the SG community, of course. And let's get to a super chat. Say just that to kick us off.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Happy Father's Day, Bitcast. It's truly remarkable how Xbox manages to cause so much whiplash for its fan base.
Great movie.
Oh well. Almost done with Kiwami 3.
Yes, he is a Yakuza fanatic.
You say good movie at the word whiplash?
I did.
Whiplash.
Unbelievable. Your brain is just spouting words today. Amazing.
Because more people need to see Whiplash. I'm sorry. It's one of the best movies ever made. Go watch it.
Won a bunch of awards. I know that.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Hoeg really likes people being mean to their fellow man. That's what he looks for in movies.
Definitely not the point of Whiplash, but I accept that is what most people know about it. Yeah. I do think there's some good father plot lines if you're looking to theme your movie viewing today.
All right, fair enough. But yes, happy Father's Day out there. And Don, happy Father's Day. Well, you're not a father, but happy Father's Day to you anyway. We're just going to celebrate all over. So
I just want
thank you for the super chat.
You've probably got a father. Happy Father's Day.
A father of some sort, I'm sure, somewhere. Thank you as always, Don. And huge shout out to Gamefire, who is one of our regulars here, always hanging out with us every Sunday, which is super appreciated already. Went and gifted 20 SG memberships this morning, which is amazing. So Gamefire, thank you very much.
And you can put that up on the screen now.
Gamefire.
Did we not used to be able to do that? I don't remember.
That was not a button we could press before.
Oh, I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Thanks, StreamYard.
Yeah, thank you. So anyway, Gamefire, thank you so much. That is very appreciated. As I've mentioned many times, memberships here are a few dollars a month, obviously, to the channel, but that also means that 25% of that is going to Extra Life, which I think I actually need to send an updated thing over there. So thanks for that, and thanks for the reminder, and appreciate you being so generous this morning. Captain Logan from our friends over at the Expansion Pass.
Captain Logan, $10 super chat. Me, just trying to pay back Ains for questionable favors performed in a hotel bedroom during SGF. I know what those favors were. Also, happy Father's Day. Can't wait to hear what you all have to say about the news. Chode.
Thank you, Logan. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the favors that were performed. That's, that's
why not?
Day. No.
Tell us about the sexual favors, Ains.
Whoa, I didn't see that word in there.
That's it.
we saw it. It was implied when he said that he's going to feed the bearded dragons in that room.
No, you have to subscribe to my only Ains to see that. So sorry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Only Ains. Very specific niche.
Yeah. Whole separate app because his follower base got so big they had to leave OnlyFans as a platform.
The big joke is
Yeah,
that 99%
right.
of the Ainses really are like Southern females.
Oh, that's true.
Also true. But anyway, Logan, thanks, man. Appreciate you. All right. And of course, we've got Tide's picks to get to, which, it's World Cup time out there.
It sure is.
And first of all, go England. Second of all, pretty exciting games happening. Kansas City is one of the host cities, and it's a madhouse down there.
Are they actually?
So we've got
It's just every city the host city.
There's cities around the country that have.
It's LA. I think it's LA, Boston, and Kansas City. I'm pretty sure. Right?
Also SF. They're here too.
I don't think they are they?
Canada. Yeah, they're in Santa Clara.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I can't pretend to
know all the
locations.
Also in Mexico.
No, they're in Mexico City. They're in Toronto. I know those, but I thought there was only 3 cities in the U.S.
They were. Isn't the final in Jersey? There's just a whole bunch of.
I don't know, but anyway, World Cup Tide picks
This is good informative content.
Yeah, I gotta say that my head is a little off in this one.
You look like you are the soccer ball.
You look extremely. You kind of look Ukrainian a little in this one.
Do you Ukrainians have bulbous heads?
I'm not sure I want to inquire as to the nature of that
I don't know
comment.
what it is. You guys ever been to Ukraine?
No.
You just kind of
not.
look a little Ukrainian in this one. I like it though. Very hairy arms. Are your arms hairy, Ains? Here's a
they are not.
lore question.
No, they are not. No.
Because you wax them, right? Because you're hairless like a dolphin. Full body wax every weekend.
I do not wax them. No.
Good. Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't look.
You look good.
You guys look like you're playing soccer, and I look like I'm in the middle of a soccer field while a game's happening.
You were doing a sideline report, and a ball hit you in the face.
Yeah, it's coming right at you, and you're kind of like intimidated by it, and you can see the eyes. Yeah.
Does anybody wear glasses while playing soccer?
Yes, but sports goggles.
Sports goggles, which looks like maybe you have, Hoeg. Well, maybe those are just regular glasses.
Yeah, I think I have regular glasses in this shot. I had sports goggles when I played soccer.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out for me.
Either way.
I look amazing. I'm going to ask for this hair, I think. I'm going to
bring
it to my stylist and say, make this happen.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like Pixar hair. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got that Travis's hair looks like his hair, which is, it
actually looks like my real head of hair.
It does.
They also got my eye color right this time. Ains' eye color extremely wrong.
Yeah, I look very odd. I lost this one this week for sure.
I like it.
But Todd, thank you as always. Yeah, it's been, I've got someone on my team at work who's like a fanatic. And so she's kept us all up to date on the matches. And it's been great. It's been cool seeing some of the videos shared around and the camaraderie among all the countries. And it's been cool. It's been cool.
I'm going to look up how many.
It's 11 cities in the U.S. I looked it up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, L.A., Miami, New York, and Jersey, Philly, San Fran, and Seattle.
And then there are 16 cities total, 3 in Mexico, 2 in Canada. I don't like this. I'm just going to say that. I don't like that it's in a million places. That's crazy. These guys, you tell me these guys are getting on planes in between every game? And just
there's a week between games, Travis.
Yeah. They have like 6 days between games. Well, I think the reason why is because they wanted to do North America, but the other reason why is that it's a bigger tournament this year, so more teams are playing. And so when you think about how many teams are playing and how many matches there are, like you couldn't do it in like 2 or 3 stadiums because it would take months.
I just remember hearing like years ago, like, oh, SF is hosting the World Cup 2026. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it turned out it was just like us and everyone else. Everyone's just hosting the World Cup. It's crazy.
Yeah. Not everyone. Back in 94, we had games here in Michigan. Not in 2026.
Yeah, they picked certain stadiums this time. So there was the game last night, like the late game last night was here in KC. And it was like, who was it? It was Curacao and like Ecuador, I believe. And I was like, that's amazing that there's going to be like 80,000 people that came in for that game that are just in Kansas City on a Saturday night. So it's pretty cool.
I think I got to see Colombia and Switzerland back in
you want to
1994.
attend the World Cup games, you have to like fly around.
If you want to see one team, yes, you'd have to travel for sure.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's why we have all those TikTok videos of like Germans going up escalators and whatnot in various airports.
Your algorithm is very different from mine. This guy's watching German guys on escalators. Is that one of their fetishes? Is that what a fetish is? Okay.
Oh man.
I will say the algorithm is very aggressive of late. Like if you just hover over anything, it thinks that you love that and gives you 4 million versions of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You keep hovering over those Germans.
You know me.
he's just checking. I just want to know what they're up to.
You gotta keep an eye on them. You never know. You know what I mean?
I have one because my Hoeg's note is really about tracking Germans, so it's gonna come back around.
Very good. I have a friend who he's like spent years curating an algorithm on Instagram so that all that he gets is videos of Dominican guys getting their haircut. he loves watching these videos. He sends them to me all the time. I have seen many Dominican men getting their haircut, and I mean, I don't know. People are into strange things.
There you go. Yeah, so a couple funny. Some people talking about well, one's not funny, but a couple things about World Cup. So Ade, shout out to our good friend Ade. Weird fact: Carlos Escobar was unalived after that game in '94 after scoring an own goal.
He sure was.
Yeah.
Actually,
don't score an own goal in the World Cup.
Yes, I believe that was actually against the U.S., right? So that was the U.S. game that they lost because of the own goal, and then he like goes back because they don't make it to the knockout stage, and like I think he's dead before the tournament even ends. Now that's all from memory of the mid '90s, so correct me, people with Wikipedia.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
That's efficient being a fan. You gotta love that.
And then Ollie G UK says Boston's been getting the Scottish treatment. So if you didn't see this article, there was an article basically saying that Boston bars are running out of beer because the Scots are just drinking them dry. And it made me laugh thinking about Beer Fest. It actually had me watch Beer Fest. I've revisited, I think, on Saturday because I was laughing about when the American team shows up and, everyone makes fun of them for being drinkers. It's quite funny. But yeah, if you've never drank with some Scots or some Irish, you're going to be in for quite a time.
Also, shout out to @42071 who said Morgoth added jazz to the song and it brought chaos. Just wanted to shout out that I saw that. Technically, he was Melkor at the time, but I'll give it to you.
That cosmology gets super confusing.
It sure does. Not that.
But anyway, are you guys real boring and just rooting for the U.S.?
I am a fan of the U.S. men's national team at soccer. Yes.
I mean, what other team are you going to root for? Some other
England,
country?
Of course. Come on.
I'm definitely not going to root for England.
Yeah, you got to root for the king.
You're definitely not. So why the definitely not?
Because for one summer at some point, all I could hear was that song about bringing it back, and
it's coming home.
I don't want it back. I want England to not have it.
I mean, they're not going to win.
About bringing it back. It's coming home is the proper...
I apologize.
Yeah, get it right. Damn it.
There was one summer where I just heard that song like every 2 minutes. And I was like, no.
It's because they were doing very well, and as England has tended to do in the World Cup, they stepped on a rake and blew it. But yes, that is their thing. Damonite says
on a rake and blew it is very funny, by the way. Just the visual of stepped on a rake and blew it,
and then they blew it. Yeah. But anyway, hope everyone's having a good time and enjoys it. It is obviously like one of the biggest world events. So if not the biggest. So
it's fun to get excited about things.
Enjoy
the soccer.
What, Travis?
I said not for me. It's not.
He's just dissing random things, Ains. You can let him go.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we know that.
I'll stick with my Tolkien lore. Thank you very much.
He doesn't much care for putting balls in nets or anything related to athletic feats.
No. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually get to some games, boys. So we didn't have time last week. Yeah,
athletic
we didn't have time
feats,
last
by
week.
the way, is the other thing in Hoeg's algorithm. Germans on escalators and athletic feats.
You guys have talked over each other about 50 times, and we're 20 minutes.
Guys, I have to. If I make a joke, it has to be timely. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to pass it up, and then nobody's going to remember that you said athletic feats, and then I can't accuse Hoeg of having many fetishes. You know,
Well, I think the chat actually has Ains nailed here.
supporting England and being an Xbox fan.
Yeah, I don't know why you got to put me on blast all day.
Yeah, I think I said this really early after meeting Ains, but I was like, Ains, I think you are a hipster because Ains likes all of the stuff that is unpopular. I can't remember the list at the time.
Like
but
Halo.
At the time, it was like,
Hey,
like,
don't bring Halo into this.
I mean, well, the weird thing is Halo is unpopular in the world
Nowadays.
of FPSs now. It's like a niche game. Yeah.
It's bizarre to think that you might be right there, but you
Yeah.
might be.
No, it is
mostly
weirdly
right.
correct now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a certain age range that loves that game though.
Anyway, let's get into some games.
You want to talk about video games, Ains? Let's do it.
Yes, I would like to. Go ahead. Someone hit me with something you've been playing over the past couple weeks we didn't talk about yet.
Okay, I got one. I want to talk about this game called Beastro. That's Beastro spelled like a beast.
Yes,
like a creature.
Let's card battle, baby. My kids are so on me for all my games featuring card battling. It's just what the indies love right now, kids.
You got a card battle. It's easier than making live action or like, you know, real time game mechanic combat. You can,
and it's often more tactically complex.
Yeah, usually.
How about you talk about the game?
So the game, you play a fox who cooks food for heroes, and it's a cozy game where you're doing like gardening, and you're also eating chickens' feet that grow back every day, and it's like their eggs. Their legs just fall off at the end of the day, and you cook them up, and then the creature stays alive, and they grow new legs. And then you use your coziness to create meals. You're creating meals in your bistro, and you feed them to adventurers, and then those adventurers go on adventures, and you get to follow them all the way there. It has roguelite components to it a little bit. It's got a lot of cozy stuff. It's got social links for you to rank up how much these folks like you, and your fox's legs are way too skinny and small. It's weird, but other than that, it's a really great game. This one was not on my radar. My wife saw it on Game Pass and screamed, and then she started playing it, and here we are. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I played the demo of this a couple Steam Fests ago or Steam Next Fests ago, and it wasn't ready then. So I'm glad to hear that 1.0 is working better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's a great idea for a game. Like, it has a lot of components that I think are like novel, and I haven't really seen combined in exactly this way. It definitely gets like the cozy vibes and like appeal if you're just like looking for an extremely chill game, right? It also has some very funny world building. Like the world is all built around flavor, and you learn at the beginning of the game that all of the spicy flavor, that there's no spicy food in the world because the spicy people were murdered, one and all. And so
wow, genocide in your cozy game.
There's genocide in your cozy game, and there's no spicy. Okay. And then when you look at like your menu, it'll be like sweet, sour, savory, umami, and then there's like a spicy one that's just like scratched out, so you can't cook with spice. It's truly my hell, right? If there was no spicy, what would I even be doing with my food?
Is there some sort of storyline about bringing spicy back?
I think that is going to play a part later on in the story. Not quite there yet, but I would be very shocked if they just mentioned casually the spicy genocide and then never revisited it. I feel like the spicy people I feel like they're probably making it back somehow. That'd be hilarious if they didn't, though. It was just like, nah, they're just dead.
Travis, did you ever play a game called Battle Chef Brigade?
That sounds really familiar. I think I probably let me look it up. I bet you I played that thing for like a minute.
I love the combo designs, and Battle Chef Brigade is a kind of
this game.
Action
I watched my wife
platformer
play this one
with a match 3 kind of puzzle thing for cooking dishes. I think cooking dishes is one of my favorite designs for cozy games. So I am interested in Beastro. I really like the art style, for instance. I love the way they depict battles, but I wasn't sure if it, to use a pun, got fully cooked. Because I did try the demo, and it wasn't great then. But that was like a year plus ago.
No,
well, there's a new thing at IGN via our editor of reviews, Tom Marks, who he doesn't want you to put food references into your criticism because it's so overused these days. Saying something's half baked or, could use more time in the oven, et cetera, et cetera. There's
we
like
all
so
have
many.
experience with food.
Exactly. But it's also just like it's in a ton of reviews, and he's kind of like, all right, we just need to take a break on the food puns unless the game is specifically about food.
I thought this was a reaction to the cheese criticism on the mouse review.
No, see, that would probably get a pass because the game specifically features and is like strongly involved in cheese. It's just that like people use like food comparisons or food phrases in games that have nothing to do with food, and now they all get cut. He just goes, no, change that to something else that's not food based.
But if you were reviewing Beastro as a for example, you could use food puns.
Correct. Yeah. Or if I was reviewing Cooking Mama, like when I did Cooking Mama, I had like a million food ones in there. But like, yeah, it's just very common. And once you find yourself writing, you realize how many of our phrases are food related, and it actually now makes me cringe when I use like a food related thing unless I'm specifically playing into a game that works into food. But just something I thought maybe people would find interesting. Probably not. That was probably the least interesting topic possible.
Well, I can't speak for the fans, but I love the inside baseball stuff.
You mentioned mouse, and I was thinking the other day because I thought about that game. I saw it in my Steam library. I'm like, oh my god, I reviewed that game this year. I had forgotten about it, and then I realized that I played the hell out of Neo 3, and I'm like, the games that I've loved this year have already left my mind because there's just too many other games.
It's a flood.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes people will mention games and I'll be like, yeah, I've never played it. Dude, I had a guy on a stream mention a game and he was like, Travis, I read your review of this game. And I went, I've never reviewed that game. I like fought him on it. And then it turns out he showed me the review and I went, holy shit, I forgot I played this game and reviewed it. That's a weird feeling.
Yeah, there's too many.
I like to think you just get blackout drunk before you write your reviews, Travis.
You gotta. Look, you want to survive in this industry? I learned the trick a long time ago. Hoeg opens up drawer, pulls out a bottle of scotch.
Hoeg, have you? I know you played the demo a while ago, and you were looking forward to this. Adventures of Elliot came out this week, and I've seen it on my timeline. I've seen it get good, not amazing reviews,
which is awesome for its place in my fantasy league. I think that's probably where I land on it, honestly. I've played it. I love their graphic style. I love this team that makes these games. This is the Octopath Traveler team.
Yep.
This is their first go at what I'm going to call an Alundra-like, which is a game nobody is going to understand at all, but it's like a Zelda, but not quite. It is good, but it is, I mean, it's too easy for me, so I can't even imagine how you guys would interact with this game. And it just doesn't rise to the level of what we usually get from this team in my experience so far. Now I haven't gotten more than halfway through this game at this point, but it feels like a lesser effort from them for me right now.
I gotcha. Okay. I forget what I was going to say, but how much time do you have in it right now?
It's a great question. Maybe 8 hours.
Market. Maybe 8 hours. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read too much into it because it's not really my type of thing. It looks really cool. I like the style of it.
It's a cool graphic style.
Yeah, I love that. But game-wise, it's not really my thing, which is fine. But yeah, it seems like people are enjoying it regardless, even if it's not like a 9 on the scale.
Yeah, I think it's enjoyable. It reminds me of like the mid-range PlayStation 2 RPGs that you would go and try to find because there were months between RPG releases back in the day, if you can believe it, everybody. Yeah. And just kind of, okay, yeah, that's all right. Nothing I'm going to remember in 5 minutes, but it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Genesis had a lot of those. But yeah, cool. What else you got? You said you had a game you wanted to mention today. I doubt that was it. Because that's not
It isn't. And I do see on our rundown that we've got a place for Steam Fest demos or Steam Next Fest demos. Is that going to come? Because I can mention some of those here, or I can mention the game that is out right now that I want to talk about.
I'd say do both, because once we talk through a couple more of these, we're going to get into the Xbox topic. So,
All right. Well, I think folks know, if they followed the Bitcast at all, that I really love the investigation deduction game genre in the indie space. There was a game last year that I absolutely adored called The Root Trees Are Dead, which follows this format of, we're going to give you like 3 people to identify, and you got to figure out their names and something else about them, maybe find a picture from some documents that you look through on the internet. And when you do that, we're going to tell you how many you've got wrong. And when you get them all right, you can move on to the next section where you get more evidence and you have fun investigating everything. Well, there's a game that came out, I don't know how recently, maybe a week or 2 ago, that I have been absolutely just enthralled by this week, called The Rat Line. All one word. And this is about being an investigator in the 1970s who is tasked by a mysterious group to go hunt down Nazis that have escaped from Nazi Germany and are in South America and various other places. And so they have all of these different aliases and code names, and you've got a Rolodex and documents that this mysterious group is sending you when you get enough answers right. And basically it's the same kind of format as The Root Trees Are Dead, or one of my favorite kind of board or in-person experiences, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. And it's just really, really well done. Really, really enjoyable. Love hunting down Nazis, seeing the group probably kill them behind the scenes. We don't exactly know what they're doing to them when we find them. But just a really, really well done game. Absolutely been taking up all of my time this last week. So check out The Rat Line. And I've also been kind of dipping my toes into what this company has made in prior games. They've done other investigation games before. The Rat Line is the one that has jumped out at me the most. So I do fully recommend it. Probably my favorite game of the week.
Awesome. There is a demo as well, to your point.
Oh, is there? Fantastic. Yeah. Play the demo. Can't go wrong.
There you go. Awesome. What else you got? Any Steam Next Fest demos you want to mention?
Yes, I have one demo for a game that's coming out very soon that I absolutely adore, called Corsair Cove. I'm sure this is a surprise to you guys from my proclivities. But this is an Anno-like, a kind of town builder, or what I think of as the gardening genre of like putting buildings in places and watching all the cool animations and everybody kind of move in. And it's a pirate island instead. But the coolest part is it's got like a really advanced system of figuring out what you want the building to do on a cliffside. So you can put any building on like these giant pillars of island, and they'll build out like the wooden platforms, and then you can put a connector ladder that goes between this. So when you finish up, it all really looks like a pirate haven. And the demo is just really, really impressive. I think the game actually comes out next month. So I'm really excited about this game that I hadn't heard of before Steam Next Fest, which is what Steam Next Fest is all about. So that's one. Pirates, city building, really cool tech. It's just my wheelhouse, baby. So check that one out. The other one I wanted to mention is a game called Dive or Die. So this is like a Dave the Diver if Dave the Diver was also fighting Cthulhu. And so you've got your diving elements where you have to go and survive, and then you bring back resources to keep your village going and get new divers and try to avert the apocalypse. I think it's in demo form right now. But really cool graphic style. Apparently I love diving combo games. Thanks, Dave the Diver, for bringing that to my attention. But highly recommend the demo. I think that one also comes out relatively soon, also July. So I try to keep my demos to, in general, I try to keep them to release dates of some kind, because there are a lot of Steam Next Fest demos that are just like, we're out when we're out. But I also try to aim them at closer things as well. So check that one out. Dive or Die, Corsair Cove, water and piracy. Enjoy.
Yeah, there's demos on both. Dive or Die is July 21st, so a month from today, actually. And then Corsair Cove is July 31st, so just over a month. But there's demos on both, so yeah, check them out.
The Rat Line you can get right today. If you feel like hunting Nazis today, you go to it right now.
Nice. Cool.
I've also been playing a lot of Steam Next Fest demos, by the way.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing this thing for IGN where we're just like playing a bunch of demos and posting like 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay of it. And My buddy Mark Medina like pulled me into this project last week. He was like, "Here's a list. Go play all these games and record 20 minutes of it." And I was like, "All right." So I played a bunch of them. One of them was Mortal Shell 2, which Ains, you and I both reviewed the first Mortal Shell, so this was a cool one to get a sneak preview of. And man, they first of all, that world is super weird. I think the sequel's significantly weirder than the first one even. And the game as like gameplay, budget, performance, like is all like significantly better than the first. So hopefully this will be like kind of their breakout game. That'd be cool. That one I recommend. I also played this game called Over the Hill, where you play a Jeep and you're driving around and you're trying to not get stuck in mud and ditches and go up hills really slowly because your car is like a real car has problems with traction and whatnot. I don't really know how to describe this game other than like it's one of those weird like sounds like it's not fun kind of cozy physics-based games, but it has a really good soundtrack and you just kind of like chill out as you slowly winch yourself to trees and drag yourself up. If you liked the part of Uncharted 4 where you just drove a Jeep through mud, this is that as the entire game. It's just that section. But it is pretty interesting and quite cozy. Another one, there are so many games on this list. I played a lot of games this week. Mistfall Hunter is kind of interesting. Again, it's weird talking to you guys about these games because I'm used to saying what I think about a game when I post it, but these I just posted gameplay, so this is my first time actually thinking about how I felt about the games. I wasn't really thinking about it while I was playing it. Yeah, Mistfall Hunter is like a extraction based kind of third person action RPG with like Souls-like elements. That one's weird. I don't know. I think people online are generally enjoying that game more than I am based off of me like looking up afterwards. I kind of didn't really enjoy my time with it, but it was
PvP or just
it has
PvE?
It's PvP, PvE.
Okay.
So it's like most of the time you're running around killing things and looting, but like there are other players and you can just murder them. I certainly did. And then take their stuff and then you like extract out of there. It's an interesting
Okay, because I love Steam recommendations similar to games you've played, Marathon and Elden Ring. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
I see it in most cases.
Those are a little different from each other, but okay,
it's like if Elden Ring were an extraction shooter. It's like literally that type of type of thing. So it's kind of interesting. I think its idea and format are better than like its actual gameplay or execution, and especially the world building. It also, I assume it's made by an Asian studio because it does that thing where it has about 12 more lines of dialogue than it should, where they're just like reiterating the same shit, and you're like, oh my god, bro! Like,
yeah.
If I weren't recording footage, I would have just been slamming A to get through all the dialogue because I was just like, this is. It takes them so long.
A, folks, put it in the hashtag.
So bad.
That means something different to Hung Hoga,
Yeah,
I understand.
I slam A when I feed the bearded dragons, if you guys know what I mean.
That's good though. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of demos out there. I haven't even gotten the Mortal Shell 2 yet, but I had a couple people obviously ping me about it. I was like, oh yeah, I've already got the Deluxe Edition pre-ordered, and I'm excited about it. So
I also ended up playing that game for an hour and didn't reach the end of the demo. So I don't know how long.
I love that feeling.
It seems like it was pretty long.
The demo could just go infinitely, and you don't know. Yeah,
and I was like, cool. I kept expecting it to be like, thanks for playing the demo, like it does in most games. And I was just like, God, I'm just still doing stuff. When am I going to get to that part?
Well, funny enough, I have it up right here on Steam, and it says grants access to the opening hours of the full game from the prologue into the first explorable region. So that's cool.
So I was in the first explorable region doing stuff, and I was like, all right, I need to stop. I've got like 8 other demos to play.
It's got nearly 2,000 very positive reviews already, and it's just a demo, so good for them.
You can review the demos on Steam.
Yes, you can. Because there's if they set it up to be a separate application, which is one of the reasons why if you buy the game later on, it doesn't always pop to the top of your library. This is a like noted thing I have with Steam. is that they have these separate applications for the demo in the game, but they're like tied together somehow. So it doesn't register that you bought the game when you do. You have to remember what you just bought, which sometimes is a trickier memory task for me than I would like to admit.
It really is.
Yeah, like if you
I do that all the time, or I'll buy a game or I'll download it if I'm like reviewing it or whatever, and then as soon as it goes to my library, I'll forget what the title is.
Yeah, what was it called?
I'll be like, where is it? Now I'm gonna have to scroll through a million games looking for the one that was the one that I just got.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have one follow-up game if you are set, Travis, because I should have said it before. If you're not, you can keep going.
The last one is Black Flag, so I can talk about that later.
Okay, so my last indie game from Steam Next Fest that I do want to mention, because this was one of the few demos that really drove me all the way to the end, is a game called Security 51. And this is of the genre of Papers, Please. You're manning a desk. You're making yay, nay decisions on things that come in front of you over a set of rules. But the trick is that you are manning the desk at Area 51. And there are various alien things that may or may not be happening, or interdimensional things. And so you have to put some people in isolation. You have to scan some people for alien mutagens. The rules are constantly shifting like all of these games, but just a really cool take on this genre. And I wanted to call it out because it's a really cool demo.
Cool.
That's it. Cool. Security 51. I'm out now. Promise.
All right. Well, I'll talk just for a minute about a game, since I would like to join the conversation with something here. That is Witchfire. So I've talked about this game before. I actually reviewed it in early access 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now. It's made by a team called the Astronauts. They're a small team. They've been working on this game for a long time. They made The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. If you need a reference point, this game is nothing like that. But it is it's a very unique game, and I went back to it this week randomly because they released their latest update, which they're at 0.9 now, with the expectation that 1.0 will be released later this year, and 1.0 will include console, so PlayStation 5 and Xbox. But I went back to it because I hadn't played it fully since I reviewed it, and they've added so much to it, and I basically immediately became engrossed again. It is like it's a first-person shooter with the premise that you are in a kind of, imaginary world, but where this witch, basically this all-powerful witch, has taken over the land. You are what's called a prayer, which is basically a power. You're like a priest with powers, if you will, and you are adorned by the Pope to go and kill this witch and find what's going on in this world. And so you basically go to this home base, and the game style is first-person shooter. It's very fluid, very gorgeous. But it is a roguelite. So you have full skill tree like you would in like a Souls game, where your different attributes you level up, like a Souls game where you get Witchfire from the enemies you kill, and you use that to level up. And then you have different weaponry, and you have different spells, and you have a rosary and all these things. And it's very, it's kind of like if you took a Souls first-person shooter with some Diablo-esque elements, and it's very cryptic as well. You kind of figure out your way through the world, and there's lots of secrets and things you can discover. And you challenge yourself, obviously, by choosing essentially how risky you want to be on your runs, is because while you're mid-run, you're powering up during the run, and there's multiple points on each map. There's multiple regions where you can basically decide to stop your run and go home and level up and stuff, or just keep
lock
going.
In those gains.
Yeah, exactly. So it's improved a ton since I first reviewed it. Lots of people have reached out saying they've had their eye on this one because it has been in early access for nearly 3 years now. And that's, again, because they're a small team. But I will tell you, it's not hasn't taken this long because it's poor or the team doesn't know what they're doing, or, all the stuff we see in other spaces.
The check I always have for a 3-year process is it's not abandoned, right? So you said
they
just
not.
Went to point nine.
No. It is a small team taking their time to do things right. And it shows in the game. It is so good and so engrossing if you are into that type of game, of course. And it is difficult. I do want to call that out. There's no difficulty level selection. Enemies hit hard, and you really have to be a competent, kind of patient player as you go through the levels. There's mini bosses. There's random enemies that'll pop up. There's all kinds of stuff I won't get into, but it's just excellent. And so I wanted to just call this out again. Like I said, it's on Epic Game Store and Steam right now in 0.9 form. 1.0 should be later this year with consoles, and I cannot recommend it enough if you like what I said, because it's fantastic.
It always looks awesome. It always looks to me like the evolution of Remnant 2, which I know we've talked about.
It's actually, that's a good kind of reference point a little bit. Doesn't have as much, it's not a loot game. So, I mean, there are things you pick up and find for your inventory, but it's not like you're looting weapons. You're basically researching and unlocking them, and then you can improve them over time as you play.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not Diablo. When I say Diablo, more the vibe of Diablo, not the actual, you're not looting. It's not an ARPG in that same sense. Not a loot-based game, but it's just, yeah, it's awesome. I can't recommend it enough. So anyway, yeah, some people said it's awesome. Top tier game. Combat is half Destiny, half Dark Souls. That's about kind of spot on.
It sounds fun.
Yeah.
I will check it out on console.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well. So anyway, Travis, you quickly mentioned, before we get to Xbox, you quickly mentioned Black Flag. Is there resynced? Is there any further comment or update you want to make there?
It's like imminent, right?
Yeah, it's soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out in July. I've been playing it a lot because, as you guys know, it's IGN's cover story this month, IGN First Game. And I'm the editorial lead on it, so I've just been doing a lot of coverage. This week, I posted the exclusive footage of the Ducasse mission, which is like a series of missions from Sequence 3, which is like earlier in the game. And this one was fun because I went back and played the original mission and then did a bunch of side-by-side footage, so you can see like specifically the changes they made to the mission, dialogue, adding new like little side quests you can do along the path, and different ways you can approach the encounter. And so it kind of showcases just how much of a remake it is, right? You can see the parts that are extremely similar. You can see the parts where they just added completely new stuff to the mission, and it's pretty interesting. And then this week is going to be the last week where we have something posting that I can't talk about, but the coverage for that game continues, and I continue to play bits and pieces of it here. And yeah, it should be a good one. I won't be reviewing this game almost certainly, because we have somebody who's just like a Assassin's Creed sicko on staff who's for sure gonna I think he reviews all of the AC stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be that one's just, you know, if you care about that game, if you care about remakes, not really my thing, but if you care about remakes, that game's shaping up to be one of those.
July is going to be awesome for piracy. Black Flag, Corsair Cove, get excited.
Yeah. Feels like Ubisoft, for all the crap we give them and what they're going through, they're putting a lot of effort into these remakes between Black Flag and Rayman Legends Retold is excellent as well. So
that sure looks good.
Yeah. So pretty cool. All right. Well, a couple other super chats to get to here. We've the Globe Collective is after me, guys. I didn't know there was a collective of the Globe peoples, but here we go.
Globe Collective, €5. Greetings, Ains. Please note we have not heard from our brother Globe for a considerate amount of time. I think
you figure that's considerable.
Yeah, definitely. We request an update immediately, or perhaps in Globe years there is what is considered a considerate amount of time. It's like a separate kind of, because we don't really know how planets or ornaments made to look like planets think about time in their terms. Maybe 100 years is considered considerate. You know what I mean? We just don't. It's so alien to us.
So, Ains, I figure your globe is just back with Indiana Jones somewhere. No,
it is actually not a joke. It's about 15 feet to my right. I have it sitting next to my liquor shelf. So the Globe Collective can ease up. He is safe. He's hanging out. He enjoys drinking with me. You know, the Globe is fine.
And Ains's globe is male. We didn't know.
I see Venus.
Yes, it is a he. Yes, it is a he.
Is that Jupiter maybe in the middle? Not really to scale. Yeah,
I don't know what picture that is.
Scale, because a lot of these planets are like nearly the same size, and that's definitely not true. It's interesting.
Yeah. But Globe Collective, ease up. Globe is good. Globe is great. You know, he's fine.
I like how you made it sound like a cult mantra.
Yes. Yeah. Globe is good.
He's just trying to be considerate.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Mystery Globe Collective. And Alex comes in with this super chat.
Alex at Slayer Giant, $1.99 super chat. Where were you when Xbox's 15th 911s hit?
I like that he
watch
said
it.
15 911s as plural, and you said 15th. Yeah. I think both might be true.
Xbox's 15
yeah.
911s. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. You better watch it, Alex. I don't know how I feel about you talking about 9/11 so blasé about like that. You know what I mean? That's the US of A you're talking about there, bub.
I think honestly, I think someone, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was a reference to what someone on Twitter or some social media said. This is like Xbox's 9/11 or something. I like that stupid, you know. So
I think Xbox's first 9/11 was 9/11, wasn't it? Because that was like right after
they were out
launched.
by then, yeah.
Yeah, it was like right after they launched. So their first 9/11 was the actual 9/11.
It was right before they launched. Yeah, them and
that would have been after, right? They launched in 2000.
They launched in November
of 2000.
November. Right? Oh, was it? I thought it was 2001.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Xbox Live.
Yeah, you might be.
No,
it was the year after.
I think it's 2001. I don't remember
now.
Which we're gonna go through the power of the internet, and it's
9/11 or Xbox.
November 2001.
Yeah, my memory cannot be this bad. It can't be this bad. It's 2001.
So really, Xbox is a product of the post 9/11 era.
Well, but so is GameCube. GameCube and Xbox launched 3 days apart.
That's how I think of GameCube, as a response to 9/11.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean Pikmin. I think the undertones are pretty obvious in Pikmin about the.
Yeah, I mean I knew what they were going for there, and I didn't appreciate it. I'll be honest.
The thing in media I remember the most is that a brand new show called 24 was going to come out, and they had a plane crash in their pilot, and they had to edit around it. They had to edit around it for their release, and the result that you can see right now, if you go find the pilot to 24, is just a mishmash of plane scenes that don't make any sense in the way that they were structured.
I remember reading about that. That's funny.
Yeah, there's like a bunch. There was an action movie that I think involved like a tall building getting blown up, and that movie just got like canceled, even though it was like fully filmed and made. There's like a bunch of interesting kind of, you gotta bob and weave when you get some attacks like that. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, but Alex, we're going to go ahead and get into it. So let's get into the Xbox piece. Just as a reminder before we do, please, if you're joining the conversation, share it out, please. Share the link, hit that like, do all the funny things that we like to talk about here. But let's get into it, guys. So, we commented last week about Asha's memo to, she started, I think, a couple weeks ago with We Are Xbox and that whole thing. And then there was this internal memo that went out about talking about the state of Xbox as a division and, the realities of having some hard conversations around what's going to be needed. And then we get various reports from Schreier to The Verge and, various places reporting that, hey, a lot of buzz around closures, shutdowns, negotiations happening with a variety of studios, from Compulsion to Ninja Theory to Double Fine to Arcane to Turn 10 to all these, other studios. Obviously, Xbox, a lot of studios. So I wanted to talk about, because I feel, again, that, this is where the three of us have played in various spaces in the real world. And so you read a memo like this, and I think, Hoeg, you and I commented on this last week briefly, to basically say anyone who read this memo and knows corporate speak, which the three of us are very familiar with, you can read between the lines on a lot of these things. And I've had a lot of conversations offline this week with other friends in the gaming industry and stuff. And I keep being, I sound very pessimistic in the sense of, if you guys think that shutting down something like Ninja Theory is the sum of what this memo means, you're not even in the ballpark, because there's going to be a lot more change coming. And so I want to talk through some of this. Just to kind of give some perspective from our point of view on what this could mean. So let me read a couple of these bullets real quick, guys, and then feel free to jump in. But these bullets that I'll read through are directly from Asha's memo to the internal team of the Xbox division. So she says, we will end the fiscal year at about 3% accountability margin down year over year. Excluding Activision Blizzard King, over the past 5 years, we have spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments in content platform hardware subsidy, but our annual revenue has declined nearly $500 million during that time. going forward. This cannot continue. Yes. She talks about the hardware component crisis. She said, when I joined as CEO in February, which is, reminder, only 4 months ago, it was 2 times what they paid last fall. And the costs have since doubled again. And as they plan for next holiday season, likely referencing hardware or other things they've been looking at from a long-term projection, they're talking about a 5-time price increase over what they paid 2 years earlier in 2025, which is, we're all aware of it, but it's pretty wild, when you see it spelled out like that. 2 more real quick. She said, and I think, honestly, I think this is the one that spoke the most to me. We expanded our studio system, great word there, when we needed a pipeline of content to meet multiple strategies across subscription, streaming, and devices. In the process, we have found ourselves overextended as we executed on changing strategies. This is so corporate, in a landscape of more readily available content. We are the fortunate stewards of industry-defining franchises that have enormous potential and player demand, but we have not adequately funded them to compete and win. I want to come back to that. At the same time, as we saw this past weekend at the showcase, a reliable pipeline of first and third-party exclusives and new IP are critical to our success. We need to reassess. Yeah, we need to reassess the balance between these and our investment priorities for the next 5 years. Lastly, she says, for some of you, these realities will be surprising and even frustrating to discover. We won't succeed by hiding hard truths. I mean, that's fair. Nor will we succeed by doing the same thing and expecting different results. Like the everyday wins mentality from the first 100 days, we will sprint to make progress against hardware, content, experience, and services together. Let's reset for a stronger Xbox and build the #1 gaming and entertainment company.
It's good emphasis, Ains.
So, I'll give you some really early thoughts, and maybe we can start the conversation here. Reading this, knowing what I know, and I'm, again, fortunate to be kind of in some of the conversations with some people in the space here, but also in the corporate structure. I looked at this as, Xbox as a division. Think of it as its own division, which it is, has tens of thousands of employees. And when I hear the words that are in this memo, I personally don't think she is going to stop. And I don't, it's her decision. Of course, she's the CEO, but I don't think as a company, they're going to stop anything less than, say, an 8 to 10% cut of the entire division. Which, when you just do the simple math, you're talking about a couple thousand people at a minimum. Because when you talk and you look at things like a 3% margin, what I said offline, this is just me talking. I could be way wrong, but just, the way I look at it is she's going to have a target to change that margin. I would say probably at least double it, probably in the next 12 to 18 months. And you are not going to do that by simply closing, shutting down, moving to independent, whatever agreement they come up with. You're not going to do that with a couple smaller studios that are 50 to 100 to 150 people. That just doesn't move the needle on a division as large as Xbox. The other thing that she has commented on in a different memo, she's had a couple, is the need to invest in core IP and to narrow the focus of their IP focus, right? To narrow that down onto core IP. Again, reading between the lines, I take that as, if you look at the companies the studios we're talking about here, the Compulsions, the Double Fines, the what were the other one, Ninja Theory, etc., and you look at their, say, last 10 years, you look at Hellblade 2, and you look at Senua was just announced, which is another crazy thing we can talk about. But you look at Kiln, you look at Keeper, and you look at South of Midnight and all these games, right? They are not moving the needle. And I want to be very clear. I love South of Midnight. I love Double Fine to death. I would defend them to the end of the earth. I love these games and these studios. This is just me talking, reading the room. That they are not what Asha is going to focus on based on what she's saying here, because they're not moving the needle in any meaningful sense. They're not moving it in Game Pass. They're not moving it in profitability, and they're not moving it in terms of player base or engagement. So I personally see a future here where the conversation this week, and I'll stop after this point, guys. Sorry. I personally see a future very soon in the next month or two where what we heard this week about compulsion closing or Ninja Theory being moved off, whatever it is, that is literally the tip of the iceberg. I think there's going to be much more severe movement and cuts across the board as they move forward in these next month or two, and we can get more into it. But where do you guys sit? Anyone can jump in first here on a kind of overall read of the room as she's talking about this stuff.
Yeah, so this blog post is how I keep thinking about it, but this is just a published version of the internal email, right? And it's hilarious to me. It has been hilarious to me for years that Microsoft has this, I think, correct working understanding that they're too big to keep leaks from happening. So they write all of their internal memos as if they're just press releases, going so far now to just make them press releases at the same time, which I'm amused by. But I think my initial take when seeing this blog was essentially, oh shit. Like, you see them use this language, you see them go to this cannot continue, add these little editorial phrases, and they are conditioning both their people internally and in press release form, their investment market, the people that are keeping their stock price at what it is, to the fact that there is going to be apocalyptic type movement, what I described on social media as very dramatic changes at the company, and that they are trying to get in front of it with enough time so that it can at least be metabolized a little bit by the investor crew and everyone else, including us and folks at the Bitcast and everybody else talking about Xbox, so that when these things happen, they aren't just an absolute shock to the system. And so I said when I read this the first time, literally, oh shit, because you just don't see giant corporations go out with this kind of note very often. And it's like, no, that one's serious. And I think we do lose some of the resolution there sometimes because people react in that same fashion to a lot of littler stuff. And I come on shows like this one or other shows that I appear on and I say, no, it doesn't actually say that. It's not really that bad or what have you. This one was immediately a neon sign of, nope, they're upending the Xbox system. And honestly, my bet is that Asha was told that that drastic action was likely going to be necessary when she comes on, if Microsoft is playing fair at all. And we don't assume that necessarily, but she would otherwise be resenting it in the background if she wasn't told this. So the other big ticket item, the 30,000 foot overview item that I have on this is, oh, okay, she's brought in as the change everything savior CEO. And I don't know that I fully understood that until I really saw this messaging go out, that they feel like they're in the complete wrong direction. She's come in to go and right the ship, turn the Titanic, and it's going to be messy to do. So those are the top line big milestone items that I saw. But yes, everybody that's taking this seriously and says drastic action is coming, that is accurate. This is the kind of thing that goes out as a flare for, we're going to run aground right now. So get ready. It's going to be messy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would be really surprised, Ains, if doubling the margin was the goal. I would be willing to bet it's probably going to be even deeper than that. I think she's probably got to hit like 10% by 18 months, 2 years would be my guess. And I think go ahead.
I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry. I was going to say, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's her goal personally. She's saying, at least externally, that she's not being held to a goal. But you know as well as I do, she has a goal, right? So, yeah, I agree with you. It's probably more aggressive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is interesting to see. And I mean, Microsoft loves a decimation. I would not be surprised if it was like a 10% cut overall. They'll probably make people stand in a circle and draw colored stones. In case you didn't notice, Microsoft's run by Roman generals. They're pretty punitive. Sorry, I love the decimation process. Anyway,
your references today are all over the place, but please continue.
Even punitive is a pun there. I mean, he nailed them all.
Thank you. Anyway, I think we kind of all knew that this was coming, right? Like we've heard reports for a long time, and I know we've talked about it on the show many times about Xbox's unenviable position in the market. I think Phil was right when he said that like Xbox lost the worst generation to lose because of people's digital libraries. I think the strategy of like going the Netflix model and just like putting as many games on Game Pass as you can, and probably spending money out the nose to do that. is clearly not worked out for them. And it's an interesting thing. I think them being a little bit more resilient and focused is a good thing, but obviously it is a bummer to see them spend all that money and time and acquire studios, and now those studios' fates are hanging in the balance because of consolidation, which we all talk about kind of not liking here in the industry, or at least I certainly have no love for it.
I was going to say, hold on before you put words in mouths here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us have positively talked about like, oh yeah, it's always good when there's fewer companies, but you know.
As the lawyer in the room, I would never use always on any of these statements, but I think it's often a saving grace for founders and people that have bet their own livelihoods on putting these
you make a
together.
business to sell it. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, I mean,
like, nobody's gonna cry any tears for Tim Schafer. He's done all right.
What?
Yeah,
I would cry tears for Tim Schafer.
I'll cry tears for Tim. He's a very good person. But yeah, the I think you see this is the downside, right? Is you have corporate ownership, your business no longer belongs to you, and not only does that I think take something special out of the type of creative risks you can take because you're not beholden to a power that is very risk averse, but it also means that when the chips are down, your studio might not exist. Now, I'm not the type to really bemoan things not existing. I think sometimes destruction is the best path to creation, and sometimes a studio gets destroyed and then 10 new studios from those developers pop up in their place, and there can ultimately be good effects, but it's never a fun experience to see something that you love corrupted over time and eventually destroyed. But that is business, isn't it? That's
corrupted over time.
Yeah, and
it is, right?
Yeah, the Arcane calls out those studios probably went under if they were not acquired, and I don't know all of them, but there were a couple of those instances, right? I mean, we know intimately about Double Fine and the financial struggles they were facing, and it's true of some of the other studios. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think the problem is that, as I see it anyway, is, and you comment a little bit about this, Hoeg, but it's to your point, Travis, is that they had an issue in 2016-17. They went out to correct that issue through acquisition primarily. They grew internal studios hugely as well, but a lot of acquisition
before they released a game.
That's
probably part of the problem.
Yeah. So I mean, that goes to this point, which is that they expanded and then they overly expanded, which I think overextended is the right word by Asha. Again, words have specific meaning in this memo. And I think she's right. They overextended. And not only did they overextend in simultaneously or in parallel, they also had that leash that was too long, right? It's become very clear over the past, 3-4 years, maybe?
As long as I've been here.
That the oversight and the management of some of these studios, not all, right? Obsidian crushes it. You know what I mean? Like, they're amazing. But like certain studios just wasn't there. I mean, to your point, I know you were joking, Travis, but it's a fact. They opened this very expensive, top tier, I don't want to make a joke about Quad A, but top tier studio in Santa Monica. Very expensive place to do business, right? Talent heavy, but very expensive. They bring some pretty high-end talent into that place. It's open for 4 years. They reportedly spend upwards of, the report, this is again to be believed, but let's just say hundreds of millions at a minimum to do this. It literally never produced a game. Like, how you do that as a leadership structure, I don't know. That's absurd. But I think that's a perfect example.
It's easy, Ains. You just need to have the initiative.
Oh my God.
God damn it.
The puns are flying.
I gotta stop for that one. That was well done, sir.
No,
well done.
Absolutely. No, and I think that's part of this story, right? Is people talking about Ninja Theory and Compulsion and Double Fine and potentially being led out to pasture because they were just doing what Xbox said that they should be doing, and now they're going to be in trouble because they're not moving the needle for Game Pass or anything else. And I think that's the nature of, you want to talk about corruption of corporations, Travis, if you do, institutionally, you have changes in leadership, you have new management. And yeah, I think I've been on the record a number of times saying I thought Phil took too weak a hand to monitoring how these things were going and monitoring his pipeline for years and years and years. And I have no doubt that Double Fine and Compulsion and everyone else was told to go find their bliss and make whatever they wanted because it didn't matter what went on Game Pass, and now they're in trouble because it did matter if you actually look at the numbers. And all I can say there is that it always was going to matter, right? Like, you can only ever get so far burning money. If the test comes back negative, if we're testing to see if this content is actually going to sell Game Pass subscriptions, and it turns out it doesn't, then all the math changes and we look at this all with new eyes. And chances are the CEO that brought you in and was playing so nice with you and visits and everything else is not going to be the one to bring the axe, because that doesn't usually work in interpersonal relations. We're going to go bring an axe man or an axe woman, as the case may be. And you say 8 or 10%, Ains. I read this stuff as much bigger, like a quarter or more. So we'll see how they go about this, but they are going to take this down much further and probably invest more in contracts and things if they even want to keep populating Game Pass in the future. So I look at this as a sea change for Xbox, probably one a long time in coming, and no fun for anybody. Remember, folks, if you don't know, I am a family member of someone that was recently laid off in a Microsoft culling of video game developers. So I have been down this road. I have seen how silly they are with these kinds of decisions. I am no big fan of the way they go about things. I think they're too big of an organization, honestly, to handle these things with the agility that they need on this. But I have to tell you, in terms of messaging and what I have seen so far, I do think Asha probably is the right, at least, disposition to go through this process. Is she going to make every right decision? Is she going to make every decision that I would agree with? Probably not. But I think it's the right kind of mindset for what Xbox looks like they need.
I agree. And it's funny you say that about the one of the bullets I didn't read from our memo. It was a late night. Sorry, guys. Her memo was in that vein, that they have they've built themselves to a point, including probably the Microsoft father figure, right, in Windows and everything to go with that. But they are not agile. They're not able to move quickly. They are beholden to a lot of technology overlaps that prohibit them from moving quickly. And she calls that out too. She says, our current platform infrastructure is not built for the battle ahead. Our systems are overly complex, spanning hundreds of dependencies, hinders our ability to move fast. We've become too reliant on vendors to operate our systems. I'd love to know more about that internally.
Oh, dude, I know some of that. I mean, you want to talk about the leaky ship that Microsoft has been running for years? The vendors are a huge part of that shit.
Yes. Going forward, we'll evolve and rebuild our stack and look at capabilities across all of Xbox and potential mergers and acquisitions to help us win in hardware, PC, mobile streaming. So, yeah, I think 25% would be something, Hoeg. I mean, that would be.
I could see it, honestly.
It would be something, and I'm just telling you, like, the vibe from a note like this is
get ready for the apocalypse.
Is apocalypse.
I know it's strong, and I don't think people are understanding the strength of what it says. But 25% would be apocalyptic. Now you're talking 5,000 to 6,000 people at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to see anybody lose their job. But I think the reason that she's putting it out there in this particular format, which is rare even just to the internal employees, is because the apocalypse is coming, and she needs to tell the people that are going to stay to keep up their morale, because it's going to be a lot of friends leaving. So I think the message is the ship is scuttling. If we don't do something, we have to do something right now. It's going to suck for everybody. So just hang on. And if you're still with us after this, we've got your best interest in heart. You don't have to believe her. You don't have to believe that kind of notion, but that's why this goes out the door. Is please take a look at how on fire this ship is, because this is going to take some real doing to fix.
You're 100% right.
I do feel.
Go ahead.
I do feel a little bad for the studios that were likely told by Phil or somebody, like, hey, here's the acquisition, here's what we have in mind, here's what the games we want you to make, here's the directive, and then seemingly a lot of them did exactly that, followed the marching orders, and are now being like, all right, well, that didn't work out despite you doing exactly what we told you to do. Now we're gonna have to close your studio or fire a bunch of your employees. Like I feel that of like the switching now. If you were, when you're selling your company, you probably should have, like, seen that coming, or weighed the risk of it not working out that exact strategy. But it is kind of interesting the massive swing that Xbox took, and now they're just sort of like backtracking on that policy. I do think that the Game Pass thing is probably going to. I mean, look, they just recently lowered the price. Like, it's not like Asha was like Game Pass doesn't work fundamentally, right? Like, there's kind of some
No, and their
inkling there
showcase
that, like,
was
that's still their strategy.
their
Yeah.
showcase was all get it on Game Pass. Like, I
Well, and
think
Matthew
Yeah.
Ball
90%
said
of them.
since lowering the price, it is growing again. He said that
Yeah,
in that
makes
interview
sense.
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um,
And I do think, now that they're going to have more exclusives there because they're pulling off of other platforms and stuff like that. Like, I think there is a version of Game Pass that can work. I mean, remember how much goodwill
course.
they had when it was $10 and everybody was
Mhm.
stoked on it. Obviously, they were losing money at that time because that's what you do when you build a subscription service initially. But I think there's a version of it that works. I just think that what they were doing, trying to like jump the line straight to being like Netflix sized and just sort of like creating a ton of content and not doing a lot of like vetting of that content, ended up really biting them in the ass. But it's gonna be bloodbath, man. This is why, don't work for big organizations. That's my message
Well,
really to
it's-
everyone.
I mean, the biggest.
Yeah, this is the biggest, but that's a good segue to what I was going to say, Travis, because to speak from some experience, I've been through multiple mergers in my career. I've been through multiple rifts, they call them, if you're not aware, right? Reduction in forces. And I went through a big one, not probably as big as this, of course. This Microsoft is, or Xbox is gigantic, but pretty big, thousands and thousands of people. Just 3 years ago, less than 3 years ago now, and it was rough. It was very similar to the way the three of us are talking about this. It was, we're not in good shape. We're not in good shape financially. There's going to be a lot of cuts. We need to have hard conversations, and people who go through this stuff, can tell you about it. But what I will say is, as much as people don't want to hear it, and as Hoeg rightly pointed out, you can believe Asha, you can not believe her, you can hate her, you can do whatever you want with your opinion.
Of course.
If this is the state of Xbox, as she calls it, and by all, obviously, it is the state of Xbox, she's not lying here, then these decisions are a necessary reality, as hard as they are. And
Almost made for
they're-
her, to be honest.
for the most part, yes. I mean, she was very clear that obviously when she came in, this is the writing on the wall, if you will. But there is, people don't think, and it's hard. Sorry, I'm not saying this well. There is a future where this action happens and there's a reset, where Xbox is in much better shape in a couple years' time. That is possible.
That's the
Now,
dream.
it's hard, and as a hardcore Xbox fan myself, I think anyone who hung around Season Gaming and has watched this for a while knows I am. It's hard to get excited about that, especially obviously with people being affected in this way and studios being affected in this way. Because, to going back to Alex's joke earlier, we have seen this from Xbox multiple times.
And we're seeing it from everybody simultaneously. Like, the industry is going through a contraction and it's no fun.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah, to be clear, as we say all the time on this show, this is not just Xbox. This is just the focus of the week. But
And if sorry,
no, I was just going to say that I think what's troublesome, at least anecdotally, and for fans like myself with Xbox as a brand, is because of Daddy Microsoft and because of their all-in investment, then retraction, then investment, then retraction. We have seen this multiple times over the years. And it's like, you hope they get leadership in place, whether that's Asha or not, I'm not sure, that can execute on a retraction like this that is targeted and meaningful and impactful in the way they want it to be, to where in a few years' time, Xbox is strong, their gaming portfolio is strong, they're growing, their revenue is at a place where Microsoft isn't hounding them to retract, all of those things. And it's just, I sit here today and I feel bad, as you guys said, for these studios and people and everything else that happens here because of just leadership decisions that didn't work out. You can talk about hindsight all day long, but as we say here all the time, your senior leadership at these companies matters. It matters a lot more than I think people realize. And as much shit as senior leaders get, good senior leaders change the course. I mean, this is an obvious statement, but they fundamentally change the course of what happens here. And if the Game Pass bet had worked better, and different
Even
decisions
marginally
were
better.
made,
Yeah.
yeah, if different decisions were made over the last 2 to 3 to 4 years, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. Excuse me.
No, and it was a bet.
And
I
if
mean,
I-
I think characterizing it as a bet is accurate. I know we've talked about it like that in the past, but they were trying a play. They were out of the game that was being played. They had lost. They lost the console war. And so they said, we're going to take our ball and we're going to play a different game with it. And they had this notion that the math was going to work out in such a way, but you can't figure out whether it will until you go through and try it. And they did. And the tests have come back and it wasn't as successful as they would have hoped. But I don't begrudge anybody taking the play. I don't begrudge that. If anything, it sounds like there might have been some communication pathways that weren't there between leadership during the Spencer era and some of these leaders of the subsidiaries. But outside of that, this is just the unfortunate nature of, that wasn't the market we thought it was. And it was still worthwhile to try to do, and it didn't work out, and that's bad, and sorry about everybody's livelihoods. But it's not inherently like a problem that Xbox took the swing. And I think that's where people get kind of hung up a little bit, because they look at it and say, well, you just took Compulsion and Double Fine and Ninja Theory or whoever else winds up getting hit entirely, and you sold them a bill of goods. It's like, no, they wanted to be right. And that's a two-person tango there for the game developers leadership to decide whether or not Microsoft is who you want to hitch your wagon to on this particular question. But they weren't. Unfortunately, the cold equations are the cold equations. The math doesn't lie.
It also looked like they were going to be successful with it for a minute there. I feel like there was a period of time where the wind was at their back. They had a little bit of momentum. I feel like
I think they were.
The removal of the exclusives, I think, was probably helping their bottom line, even if it hurt like their long-term kind of like console ownership. And I think if maybe a different set of circumstances and economic conditions, and like they kind of faced a perfect storm of things that like challenged this business model that they were trying to build. And I think that is ultimately what led to them being like, all right, this is like long-term, not really going to be it for us. But I could see a world where things happen slightly differently or in a different order, or they tried this a little sooner, or maybe the silicone problem didn't happen or whatever. Like there's a version of this business where like it was successful. I think some of it was dumb chance, and I think some of it was the exact execution of their strategy, and it sucks. And I do ultimately think like gamers are going to lose because of this. Like the whole regression on exclusivity is shitty. It's just shitty for consumers. Like some of the stuff that they're doing, it feels like we're going backwards in the industry, which, so that part is a bit of a bummer. But you know what?
I don't agree with that. I actually think that a walled garden competitor is going to be a stronger industry in the long run. But you know that I sit there on the opposite side of the table from you on this question. But yes, I think that this is going to suck. It is.
Yes.
But I think that there's a chance that Xbox comes out stronger, as Ains suggested. Now, you have to kind of have certain faith that they're going to surgically cut where it's appropriate, that they're going to get the cancer and not hack off a limb. And that's where you don't have to have faith in these people. I don't know them from Adam myself, but the mindset is correct. And what I worry about from when you go down this road with companies and you get messages that are a little bit like this one is, the ship is on fire, but we don't really have the internal fortitude to take the steps that are going to be necessary here. So we kind of half crash over the course of a half decade. And they are definitely not going to do that. She is brought in. She is the hatchet man. And she's going to be hatcheting. So it's better than the opposite. It really is, but it's going to suck to watch.
A clean cut for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if I could try my hand at a transition, it could always be worse. And rather than losing 10 or 25%, you could lose 50% for the second time in 3 years.
I
Pretty
know
good
what you're talking
segue, my
about.
friend. Pretty good segue, my friend.
Speaking of which,
I'm sorry to cut your segue off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut it off because we have a super chat relating to the Xbox thing. So I want to get
fine.
that before we jump. But shout out to the 200 plus hanging out with us concurrent. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're still going. We got a super chat relating to Phil here, which I think Phil is worth commenting on in the sense of leadership in this conversation.
Claw117 offers $10 and writes, public opinion is going to be very damning against Phil. I always remember Hoeg saying in Defining Duke that he was avoiding conflict and saying everything was fine. Look where that got them.
Right. Well, it was in particular in that episode, it was a point of pain for me because I have seen so many kind of soft-handed leaders of major corporations essentially lead them aground, lead them into the iceberg, let the ship stay on fire. That's kind of what I was referencing earlier. And I do think Phil made a lot of right decisions. I honestly think he saved Xbox, and I think that shouldn't be missed as part of his biography. But this is going to be a rough chapter in that same biography because I just don't think he had within him the desire or skill set to go and demand what needed to be demanded out of the pipeline that he built because he wasn't hired for that role. He wasn't hired to run 24 developers when he came onto that job. So I just don't think he had it in him. And we talked about it in Bitcast in the past, but there are different CEOs, there are different leaders for different age ranges for your company, right? I'm in the entrepreneurship space. I'm in the venture capital space. There are CEOs that take you from 0 to 10 employees. There are CEOs that take you from 10 to 100. There are CEOs that take you to IPO. And outside of
Usually
that,
not the same person.
no, they're almost never the same person.
Yeah.
And you try to make everybody happy and make sure nobody's getting screwed over too much in the transitions. But yeah, there are people with different skill sets. And I don't think Phil ever had the skill set to go and be the guy that pounds on the table and tells Double Fine or whomever that actually what we need you to do is this. Because that is not the message that we ever got from the reports on Phil Spencer and his developers.
Yeah. I do think like Phil's, I think they won't be kind to him in terms of like the second half of his tenure because of the results and the ultimate conclusion that was drawn. But I do think like his ideas were correct. Like exclusivity does suck. Like accessibility in games is a good thing. Game Pass was a good idea. Like backwards compatibility. Like you can kind of go down the list and you're like, yeah, I mean, all the stuff that he fought for or envisioned the industry going to is like positive things for regular gamers. Unfortunately, that doesn't always meet with the business realities. And I think that was a conflict that was coming forever. It was just a matter of like, can they weather the storm like one of the tech startups and be unprofitable for 15 years until eventually the model works itself out? And I think there was some of that. You guys are from San Francisco, so you don't know how freaking normal that is in the place that I live, but that's like basically the default like mentality is like, yeah, Amazon wasn't profitable for 25 years. Like that's, you got to do that. That's just the way business works. And I think they tried their hand at that. They're just a different type of business in a different type of space where those realities aren't. I think there's some of that, like, that friction of like the legacy business and the old, the massive corporation kind of bumping up against like the tech adjacent culture of like, hey, it'll kind of work itself out. You just build a good product and the dollars will make sense later. And that it just, they either weren't willing to hold on, or maybe they were hoping that, when you're $1 trillion company, you can afford to have losses on the books for 20, 30 years before you turn things around. I'm not really sure what the ultimate logic was, but I think it was more of a like experiment, like Hoeg said, that maybe they knew was like 50-50 shots on succeeding, and they took the shot because you can afford to do that when you're $1 trillion company. But
yeah, and they're not going under anytime soon, so they can't afford to do it, but they got to fix it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet. Like it also seems, by the way, guys, a lot of this like number stuff, they're like cutting aside Activision Blizzard because they're just viewing it as like almost a separate part of the business.
Well, it's a Black Swan event.
I'm wondering if Xbox overall is like much healthier, and they're just looking at the not Activision Blizzard King part of the equation in terms of like their calculus for the parts that they're cutting and where the problem is. It's kind of interesting.
I don't think that's right. I think the reference in the post that we saw was to make sure that you don't take the cost of ABK against the revenue generation of Xbox, which is proper. That is the right way to think about the financing there. So I think when they talk about how Xbox is doing overall, when they say we lost $500 million, that kind of thing, that is operationally as fully constituted, but it is not taking into account $70 billion spent to go get the damn thing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I think everything else is with ABK as part of the family because they are truly part of the family, but they didn't want, as part of the statement, anybody to assume that spending $70 billion is being counted against them directly.
I've just seen some other phrases that make me think that maybe the ABK thing, they're just sort of like cutting it. I don't know. I would need to reread the statements, but I kind of was just getting some vibes from there. I was like, I wonder if they're kind of not really, they're kind of accounting that as almost a separate unit of the business because it has more of an independent operation. But they're clearly not doing that with other parts like
Bethesda,
and ZeniMax. Like that's clearly not how they're thinking of those orgs, which is interesting.
No, and I don't think you can, right? If Asha is looking at this collectively, I think you have to look at it as a single organization and how you're going to do exactly what she says. I think the one thing, and thank you, Claw, for the super chat. I'll take this down now. I appreciate you. One comment before we segue. Sorry, one other statement in this memo that I wanted to call out, which gives me personally a tiny bit of hope. And yes, you can call me optimistic. She says,
optimistic.
We are the fortunate stewards of industry-defining franchises that have enormous potential and player demand, but we have not adequately funded them to compete and win. So, you know, this is going to shock you guys. I hear that, and I think of Halo.
What's funny is
I think of Call of Duty. I think she's like, give more money to Call of Duty.
No, because Call of Duty is a moneymaker. I mean,
but
give more money. They have 8 studios on Call of Duty. Like, what do you mean give more money to Call of Duty?
I tend to
the
agree
fortunate
with Travis.
stewards sounds like to me like we're the stewards, not the creators of.
Yeah, not homegrown.
Yeah, that's the way.
Stewards just means they're overseeing it, which would
that is what the word means. But I do think that's chosen to mean not.
She chose that word as my point rather than like we are the
technically.
Yeah, but another word you can use if you created it. Yeah.
No, but you also don't say we have not adequately funded. You're not talking about Call of Duty when you say we haven't adequately funded Call of Duty.
It depends what your ambition
$70 billion acquisition.
It depends what your ambition is, right? If she wants Call of Duty to be GTA 6, then in her opinion, it hasn't been adequately funded and sky's the limit on that franchise. So I kind of viewed that as like,
if she wants Call of Duty to be GTA 6, she's in the wrong fucking position. Excuse my language.
Well, I think that's correct, but that's everybody with GTA 6, right? No, exactly. Not getting that GTA 6 money. That's Rockstar's.
No.
Walk away. But no, anyway. I do think that's an interesting piece. I don't see optimism there, Ains. I think it's interesting because I don't think we've gotten any reports of any on the dev side complaints about the Microsoft bags of money making the games they want possible. So she's talking about this from a different angle of actually looking at the macro spreadsheet and saying we didn't put enough money in Halo or Call of Duty or whoever's right on that point or anything else, and saying we need to move the money around.
Which I think
you need to move the money around. This is 100% right. But like, so this again, I told you this is me being optimistic and reading something that's probably not there, but I want to be there. Just to be clear, is you have all these IPs. Obviously, their IP strength nowadays with all these acquisitions is insane, right? And so when she talked in her other memo about focusing on core IP, I forget the exact wording she used, but something to that vein. You know, you look at something, there was a time, and again, I'm being nostalgic here, I know, so bear with me. But there was a time when you think about show, and we're going to forget the Halo show exists for a second, but yeah, show, movie, books, graphic novels, all this stuff where Halo was huge. I'm not saying it's going to regain that. Same with Gears, right? They're really focusing on Gears for later this year.
Yes, Forza Gears, Halo years.
Yeah, those things. But there's other things, right? I've joked about Banjo for years, and you have Crash Bandicoot, and you have all these things that are out there. And it's like, I think hopefully, what I'm saying is, hopefully they're going to look at all these IP and say, where is the player base for these IPs, and how do we support these IPs to be profitable? So we'll see. I'm trying to lay some hope in here, guys. Bear with me. So.
No, I mean, I like that turn of phrase. I mean, as I said, this is a very well-crafted memo / email to people. This has clearly been through more hands than just Asha's or Matt's. I know they're the signatories here, but there's a lot of voices on a message like this.
Yes, exactly. But anyway,
I think they shot from the hip on it.
Yeah, they just fired one off.
I think they wrote that
Copilot.
I think they wrote that thing in notes and then copy and pasted it into the email.
Copilot, make this scary, but not too scary.
Yeah. Anyway, so leave us a comment, leave us your thoughts, let us know if you think we're hitting the mark, what your thoughts are on this, and thank you, chat, for engaging with us on that. But as Travis tried to segue a good 10 plus minutes ago now, talking
right.
about the industry as it relates in this conversation is, yes, the other reports this week are that Bungie, which we have talked about quite a bit in recent times, and just as a demonstration or maybe an example as to where Xbox is certainly not alone in the space, Bungie is reportedly getting ready to lay off about 50% of its staff. And to Travis's earlier point, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, at one point they were about a 1,200 person studio. They were cut to about 8. And now they're talking about cutting down to about 4. And part of that is that not only is Destiny 3 not seemingly coming, but no other internal project has been approved to be worked on outside of the multi-year journey for Marathon, as I read Schreier's report and other reports on this.
Yes. So I'm actually in the rare position where I have some of like my own, I guess, reporting.
Yes, that's why I passed to you, sir.
But yeah, the situation at Bungie obviously isn't great. Marathon has underperformed despite being a really amazing game. Just hasn't really captured a wide audience. And currently what's happening at Bungie is people are pitching ideas about what their next game could be. It'll probably take them 5 to 7 years to make that game because it's Bungie. But and they should have pitched it, frankly, a long time ago, if we're being honest, guys. But the idea is that they could get another game here. Like Sony doesn't really seem interested in completely giving up, and so we might be in a situation where maybe Marathon doesn't make it past season 5 or 6. Like who knows what the fate of that's going to be, but it sounds like there's at least some hope that there will be a game after Marathon. Keeping in mind that the alternative is, of course, they bet it all on Marathon, and if that doesn't work out, they don't have a studio anymore. And so it's looking pretty bleak. They've gone through halvings before, and it sounds like they're going to go through another one, and everybody's currently bracing for layoffs, which is unsurprising given the reality of their situation and decisions they made. If you want to hear me talk a whole lot about this, Ebontis, the real Ebontis, and Lord Cognito and I.
He should go buy that now.
Yeah. Ebontis and Lord Cognito and I did a final episode of our old Destiny podcast this week, The Last
Nice.
Word, where we finally bid adieu to both the game and to that podcast, and presumably each other. I don't plan on seeing those guys ever again.
Like deliberately not? Just avoiding them?
Yeah. I just don't want to. Just don't want to do it. So yeah, if you want, you can watch that where I say my thoughts both on the death of Destiny and the decisions I believe the Bungie made that led to the current position they find themselves in, and a little bit of speculating on what the future looks like for them. But it is effectively kind of the end of, obviously Destiny's done. They're not even hot patching the last update that they came out with 2 weeks ago, and so that's sort of the end of that. But it was very cathartic to see those guys and chat one last time. But yeah, it's a bummer. I like Bungie. I've always liked them. I like pretty much every game they've ever made, and it sucks to see him in this position. What's that?
Oni.
Yeah, of course, Oni. Oni's awesome. You don't like Oni?
I don't like Oni. I mean, Oni's fine, but it's pretty lame.
But going back to leadership matters, look at Bungie. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just another example. Frustrating. I agree with you. And we've talked at length about Marathon. I'm not going to harp on it here. I'm still playing it multiple nights a week. I played it last night. It's so good. It's just so good. And it's, again, we've said it a million times. It's a niche product. And in fact, what's her name? Oh man, I'm terrible with names. People know her well. She was the community manager at Bungie for a while. She's well known in the community, like gaming community. Damn it. Someone will tell me who it is. But anyway, she came out last week and basically posted that, hey.
Yeah. Talking about Liana Rupert. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. She came out last week and said that, you know, she was obviously privy to what was going on internally at Bungie, and she said it was known from the start that Marathon was not supposed to be a Destiny replacement or competitor, and it was going to be a much smaller game audience-wise than a Destiny. So, I mean, it's not that they're surprised by this, but it is a shame
That
to
it
see
happened
that.
at the same, so it happened at the
all in
same
parallel.
time Destiny died, and they did not take the proper steps to plan their next game because they got distracted with other stuff. And I mean,
Yep.
The reasons are numerous and myriad.
Yeah. So anyway, so wishing those people the best as well, because there's a load of tremendous talent at Bungie, like there are a lot of these studios. So I'm just wishing all these people the best, because it's frustrating to watch. But it is the state of the industry right now, and as I think you guys both said earlier, it won't stop here. This is not the ends by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I mean, and we've said it before, there's a clear overinvestment coming off of COVID, and
yes,
some of this is reaping that.
Yes, it is.
Some of this is a complete change in demographic. I mean, one of the things that's happening in the reports, and one of the reasons I really love Matthew Ball being hired by Asha at Xbox, because I think he's brilliant on this stuff, is that the next generations after us, right? We're seasoned, but the next generations after us aren't even interacting with video games in the same way. And like all of the platform holders have to figure out how to manage that situation, because they're playing on iPads and everything else. That's part of why this is an Xbox comes to be. And it didn't work out for the old guard. But generations after us are not going to interact with games in the same way. Sony's dealing with that from the tip of their mountaintop of how can we sell PlayStation 6s within the same environment where things cost 7 times as much as they did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And is there something to sell? How long can we extend our generation? They're in a better spot than Xbox, obviously, but everybody is looking at it and going, well, what does this industry look like in 10 years? And it's very hard to project right this second.
Big time. Yeah. In fact, it's kind of crazy because I, you know, my personal career, I play in a space where I'm mapping out 3, 5, 6, 7 years. And I remember talking to Jason Ronald at Xbox year before last and at SGF. And he was talking, obviously, you know, not any details, but he was talking about how they basically map out hardware and things for 10 plus years, right? You know, like 10 to 12 years. And I'm thinking right now, like, it's not even possible. Like, I don't, you know, like the bets you have to make now for that type of runway is wild. And it's that's why you're seeing so much destruction in various areas with the way AI and the shortages of hardware, because no one bet on that 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was not expected. And so it's just, it's messy out there right now.
It's hard to anticipate a brand new industry needing the same resources as you, springing up out of nowhere and getting as big as you in 2 years.
And growing as fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it has. Yeah, it's nuts. So anyway, well, you know, to bring it to do a poor segue effort here and to bring it back to game excitement for the biggest game
a lot of
that
excitement
that may ever release in our lifetime.
Until
GTA
7.
6, yeah, GTA 6 is actually seemingly coming this year, as 2K said it would earlier this year. So November 19th date is seemingly sticking. They released a 30-second pre-order trailer this week to basically
was that really 30 seconds? It felt like it was 8 seconds. Wow.
30 seconds to say, this is our cover. Oh, I think like 10 of the 30s Rockstar logo. So they say this is our cover art, which is a thing for GTA games, and that pre-orders will go live on June 25th, which is what, Thursday, I think.
Yes, it's Star Fox Day. Sorry, GTA 6. My priorities are in order.
That's insane. Insane priorities.
So I
give me my little furry Muppets in starships.
I told these guys when the trailer released on Thursday, I said I joked with some of the other guys in the community. I said this 30-second trailer of nothing will have 10 million views on it. Guess what? It's been 3 days and it has 10 million views on it.
Whoa. It is not nothing.
Okay?
It's the logo.
What?
I'm interrupting you because you said something crazy.
Travis is letting his impulsive thoughts take over. You just have to let it roll.
Whoa.
So let me ask you guys, be honest here. Don't act like you're know-it-all, Travis. But did you know that the cover art for every Grand Theft Auto, the upper left was always a helicopter? I had never noticed that.
No,
I did not know that.
No, when you sent us the link and said, I guess it begins to the teaser, and it just said cover art revealed, I was like, I'm betting it's a segmented cover of different pictures in cartoon form of this place. Like they're all the same. So no, I didn't know
there's
the
always a
helicopter is featured
helicopter
so
in the upper
prominently.
left, which is weird.
I didn't know that.
I know this because, and I joke about this, but to show you how big GTA is, both in the SEO world, but also for sites, I think it was 3 hours after the trailer, and I'm not joking, Kotaku had 5 articles up about a 30-second trailer.
No.
5 articles.
No, they did not.
You think
They
it has anything to
absolutely
do with
did.
SEO?
They absolutely
Good
did.
job, AI back in Kotaku.
But anyway, Travis, you've talked about your hype for this game. I think everyone, if we're being realistic, as we've said many times, this game is going to be the nuclear bomb. But, it's starting to actually feel real, which is weird, right?
Yeah, no, the pre-order date is real. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's 5 months away. We have a new GTA coming out. Look at Travis. D's like, I recognize
I really wish
that
I could
face.
see
Watch
his hands
out.
when he makes that face.
Very good. Yeah, that's my feeding the bearded dragon's face right there.
I'm not going to let you corrupt my lovely relationship with my bearded dragon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you give him those roaches, baby. You give him those roaches.
Nope, this
Cool.
is unacceptable.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited for this game. I had no doubt it was coming out this year. I have reasons for that, both personal and professional, that I believe that to be true. But yeah, obviously stuff like this, like a logo, doesn't excite me, but it does. I just like when large swaths of humanity are all excited about the same thing. Like, you think about the Game of Thrones era where everybody was talking about every Monday morning about what happened in Game of Thrones last night. And I feel like those cultural touchstones are becoming rarer and rarer as the monoculture dies its last breath and everybody's watching shows and playing video games that are completely different from each other. And so whenever we get a chance for everybody to be happy about the same thing, I'll include the World Cup in that. Like, it is unifying to see everybody caring about the World Cup. And I think Grand Theft Auto is the best thing that we have about the best World Cup equivalent we have in the games industry, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it is kind of the thing. And so it kind of reminds me in 2007 when Halo 3 came out, and you still see documentaries and videos about how incredibly unified the entire world was around being excited for that game. And I think Grand Theft Auto is one of the last like massive games that absolutely everybody's excited for that we have left, and that's cool. It's cool.
Agree.
Yeah. And is it going to be good? Yeah, probably. It'll probably be amazing.
It's going to be immersive and expansive. Am I going to enjoy it? I don't tend to love Rockstar's games, but it's going to be a really cool toy at minimum.
That's okay. That's okay, baby boy. You can be quiet. You can just
I just look at him as like,
go gentle into that. Good night, Hoeg.
It's not even the stories I go to GTA for, or even some I like better than others, but just the sandbox nature of those games. And to Travis's point, it is one of those rare times, more rare now than it was in the past, where everyone comes together for the same thing. And I'm excited to live through, as silly as that sounds, to live through GTA 6 launching, because that week and the lead up to it, its launch, and then people talking about it, to Travis's point, is going to be fun. It's just going to be
crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think the price will be?
I was going to ask you guys that. So I see a lot of people talking about 2K is going to make this an $80 standard edition game with obviously with hundreds and collector's editions and shark cards and everything else. What do you really think? You think they're going to go above normal standard price for GTA?
I would be seriously evaluating $100 with shark bucks. So maybe having a standard that looks more like a normal price, but that doesn't make sense to anybody because of the package that is at the $100 level. Like, just really funneling towards $100 being what we're trying to sell.
Yeah. I think they'll funnel toward a more expensive package, but I would not be surprised if the first like bombshell announcement was that like GTA 6 is confirmed as like a $60 game or something like that. And they just went like full bore for it. I could see them just doing something like that because it's Rockstar and they can do whatever the hell they want. I think that would be cool. We'll see, though. I kind of tend to think it'll probably just be like a $70 game, $100 version, and then there'll be like some $300 collector's edition that everybody buys and scalps in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it just has a giant statue of an alligator.
Well, their fees have been weird, but
I still have that GTA 4. Do you remember they had the bank bag with the lock on it? It says Grand Theft Auto on it. Actually, it might have been 5. I don't remember, but I still have
proving
that.
my point
still
of
have-
weird. Yeah.
I have like a bank bag. I actually use it. I keep my valuables in it. It's like actually useful. So I've got that. It's pretty funny.
No, I do think it's interesting that they have this pre-order announcement. I think it does mean that the game is coalescing. I also, however, view it as the last exit ramp to move that date. So I'm not as convinced that November 19th is set in stone. I think that this pre-order video, whatever it's going to be when they start pre-orders, is going to be the real date, whatever they say. If it's November 19th again, then it's November 19th. But they have the opportunity to slide it a little bit in this last kind of exit ramp.
I think they're sticking it at this point. Yeah, but we'll see. I think I'm more curious. We've talked about this before, but I'm most curious because obviously we know the launch is going to be absurd, but post-launch is all about GTA Online, right? And so I'm very curious to see that transition. That's what I want to see most. One, how do they sell GTA Online at launch? To your point, packages, premium editions, early access, bundles, whatever the hell it looks like. But also, how do they transition the people into this new GTA Online and what that game even is? Like, we know what GTA 6 is going to be at a very framework level, but what does GTA Online look like in a GTA 6
We know it's
world?
coming a month later, right? They already announced that.
Did they?
Did they? Okay.
Uh-oh. Yes. Or they
might have. They might have. My memory's not what it used to be. I mean,
that's the same thing that they did. That's what they did with 5.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it
I mean, that would
wouldn't be-
make sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
We'll
makes
move
the
on to
selling
some
it as
super
a
chats,
bundle.
Travis.
Yeah, let's move on to some super chats.
Alrighty.
All right.
Because one of these, I think, is Don being absurd. Let's start with the normal one.
Don the Lion-Hearted offers $2 and says, "What do you think the GTA 6 collector's edition
let's take a
situation will
guess.
be?"
What crazy ass thing is going to be in the CE?
I think it'll be $250. That's my
Okay.
guess on the price. And I
Okay.
think it will have, God, it's hard to tell because we don't really know what the story's about. Because the other ones, they've done something like the bank robbery one, 5 was like bank paraphernalia. The one before that was like New York immigrant one. And I can't really remember what they had, but it was something themed. And they do like practical items in the past. So I don't think it'll be a statue. I think it'll be some like item, like you'll get like a personal
one of-
safe or something like that.
Maybe I'm just taking random rumors from online and not. This isn't anything that's in official context. But isn't one of them an undercover cop?
That's rumors.
That was my theory. That was my theory.
Yeah, that's rumors.
That was my theory from the very first trailer where I said I think the guy's a cop.
Yeah, that was
I
that was like a year.
Yeah.
We talked about that a long time
which
ago.
by the way,
Yeah.
I still think that we have no new
I-
information, so why would my opinion change? But yeah,
No,
that
I think
was
it
my
comes
theory.
across much more strongly in trailer 2. I remember being like, "Oh, he is definitely a cop," and
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think he's a
why
cop.
exactly, but yes, that's the
He's a
vibe.
cop. I think he's a cop.
So
Yeah.
Alex said in chat, which I was going to say, and I don't even know why this makes no sense, but my mind immediately when I thought CE is there's going to be an alligator or a crocodile in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think that too normally, but I just they have not done trophies or like plushies or anything like that.
They haven't done
or
normal
statues.
CEs. No, they do.
No,
weird
Yeah,
stuff.
I
It's
think
a
it'll be
giant
something
gator
weird.
mouth with like a severed limb in it.
I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be something like it'll be like a practical item that you can have or use in some way, and everybody will be like, "That's weird," and then they will buy it.
Well, the reason I
Because
asked about the
GTA 5
undercover cop because if it was an undercover cop plotline, I'd make it a badge.
I could see that too, but then they would give away a huge part of the plot, and I don't think
You,
they're gonna
you only
do that.
assume that. That might be the premise.
Yeah, I think it'll
But
be
anyway.
a big part of it. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay. So let's thank you, Don, and thank you for this next super chat, which I think you are back in insane Don mode again.
Love it.
Done. I heard $5 super chat. I love GTA, but Rockstar games don't tend to have much beyond the main story, which is weird. What the? No side quests, for example. Red Dead Redemption is a bit different, not much. Don, I met you
What?
in person. You're on the spectrum, and this is one of those scenarios. I don't know what to tell you, my friend.
Some of the
Well, I mean, I don't
best
think he's wrong
content.
necessarily, but it's like it's
No, he
because their
is.
main story is
Wrong.
like wide linear, right? So it's like you have 4 different people, but that's all main story. So they don't really go off what they're doing with their main through line.
Well, I mean, it depends how you define it. That's fine, but like, there's so many side quests that are you normally call a side quest, right? You have your main. Here's your North Star mission that you have to do, and then you have side quests. Now, the side quests can tie into your main characters or main story, but they're still side quests. So
And
I
then
don't
there's
know.
also the whole like sandbox thing where you're just not doing the main story and messing around, which isn't that like the main thing people do. Not to mention GT Online, which I would argue the story in GT Online is interesting, but not the
Yes,
main reason you play.
but that's
So-
different from what Don's saying here. Like, it's a very responsive sandbox. I don't think anybody's arguing that Rockstar does that. They 100% do. But GTA has not historically had the you need to go hunt these animals out in the woods in order to make these things, and have even a self-developing kind of side quest.
So he's saying like structured side quests.
yeah,
I don't know. He says
I mean,
he says RDR is a bit different. Literally the two things I remember most meaningfully from Red Dead 2 are both side quests.
yeah, I also I think to your point, or to his point, Ains, he's saying that like I do agree that Red Dead Redemption has more structured side quests and side activities than GTA, but I think that's by design. I think GTA is like there are tons of side quests and side things you can do in GTA, but it doesn't like guide you to them in the same way that Red Dead Redemption does. And I don't think that means that there's not much beyond the main story. That is an insane statement, but I think I get what he's saying, what Hoeg was saying structurally.
it's not much
Structurally, it's a little
authored,
different.
not much authored non-main
Exactly.
story.
It's not like, oh, go hunt all of the albino animals like you do in Red Dead. It's like, there's lots of side quests, but you kind of just have to figure them out on your own. Although, there are a lot of those, like, there are a lot of side quests on GTA. I don't know, man. You need to replay that game would be my suggestion.
He's following up.
Red Dead Redemption has strangers, which are side quests, not GTA. GTA has side quests. I hate to break it to you. Quite a number of them, actually.
What are you thinking of when you say that, Travis?
Like, it has optional, not part of the main story things where like you go somewhere and you go on like some, I remember one, like somebody gets in your car and then you're driving them around to pick up something, and it's like just a completely optional thing, and then it like ends. It has like a beginning and a middle and an end, and then it's like, okay, cool, that was just for like some extra money or a weapon or whatever.
I believe you.
So
I don't think I've experienced that. So I'm on Don's side of the coin with this right now. But I also haven't played GTA 5 in a long time.
Yeah, I play that game like every 4 years. And then I also play GTA Online quite a bit, which GTA Online obviously
is where the side quest went.
It's mostly side quests.
Yeah. By the way, for those who haven't played GTA 5, they announced this week too, they're doing free upgrades to the Series X and PS5 version of GTA 5 if you own those games digitally. Physical as well on PlayStation for some reason. If you own a physical copy on Xbox, not included, which is weird. But yeah.
Also, GTA 5 does have side quests called Strangers and Freaks. So the idea that they don't have the strangers is not true.
Don, love you.
Are there side characters you meet and can hang out with that are completely side? Yes, they are. GTA.
Love you. Thank you for the generosity. You're crazy as always. Get back to Kwame. Kwame's making you nuts, I think. We have a new someone I don't recognize here. Jonathan M.
Jonathan M332, $4.99 super chat. What are the odds that all this streamlining and leaning out of the Xbox business is prelude to offloading or selling off the business? Very low.
Yeah,
yes,
I
but
don't
not
think so.
zero. I mean, like, that's what you see is the speculation in the Wall Street Journal and whatnot about these various things. But the God's honest truth is that to the extent that Asha's memo to everybody is accurate, and again, it's a publicly traded company, giant company, biggest in the world, can't really lie about these things in the manner that some people accuse her of lying. But if that's accurate, it's still going to be good, whether it's internal or external, to streamline and fix the ship. So you really can't say whether there's a phase 2 or not, just from what we've seen so far. But there have been rumblings from the investor crew to the board at Microsoft that maybe we could just scuttle the entire Xbox initiative at some point. And that's been going on since basically 2001, which we ascertained was when the Xbox launched. So what I would say is it's non-zero. Certainly streamlining and making it more attractive is phase 1 of an exit strategy. but it doesn't demand an exit, and it would still make
I
sense
also
if it was
think
staying internally.
what we talked about last week about them making Xbox and spinning it off into its own like side business, I think that would be a prerequisite to them selling the Xbox business, honestly. So I think if that happens, then maybe you can add like a couple more percentage points to the likelihood. But until then, I just don't think it's even
Right,
really
which is just the mothership going through the hard work of moving the contracts around in such a way that it is portable and can be sold. So yes, that would be another phase after this. So odds are, I'd agree with very low, just not 0.
Agree. Yeah, I don't need to add anything there. Agree. I don't. They're not moving away from Xbox in that vein. It's about making Xbox profitable in the way that is expected of a division of that size. All right, Jonathan. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the super chat. All right, boys. We just as I was commenting, crossed the 2-hour mark. I think that's going to wrap us up. I wanted to do a quick shout out for Bobby Prince. If you didn't see this, he's the original composer. I did software for Duke Nukem and Doom 1 and 2. So did those classic riffs, the meaty, they used to call them, right? Meaty riffs way back in the 90s. He was inducted into one of the kind of game music Hall of Fame type things they do for these type of memorial things. He died this last week. So shout out to him for giving us some of those good memories back when Hoeg and I were young and Travis was a thought.
I actually wasn't a thought.
We are a little older than
nobody
Travis.
planned me, trust me.
and we lost a Guillemot family member, didn't we?
We did. Yves' brother, co-founder of Ubisoft, died in a plane crash this week. Kind of crazy.
Wow, that's so weird. That's like the third person dying in a plane crash recently.
Yeah, so also strange on that one. But yes, that is true. But anyway, thank you for the conversation, chat. You've been awesome today on this bigger conversation about Xbox and what we're thinking there. As I've continued to say, we have still things coming out from SGF, different hands-on previews and thoughts and things and stuff at the SG side. So just swing on by when you can. We appreciate it. I'm actually going to put up my hands-on preview of Onimusha tomorrow. It's been half written for like all week. Work was nuts this week. So it'll go up tomorrow, and then we'll have some other stuff as well to look out for. But Hoeg, gonna shout out over to you first this week.
Sure. No, absolutely. I have nothing to sell you. I have no video content of my own. I'm not that lazy, I promise. I've just been doing other things. But in the meantime, go hunt Nazis in the rat line. Get excited for Star Fox on the 25th, and pre-order any games you might be interested on that same day, if you feel like it. Get them before they run out, I suppose. Yes, you can also play Witchfire, but I can't tell people to do that because I've never played it myself. So that's on you, Ains.
Fair enough. Travis, what you got, my friend?
I've got coverage of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. There's a bunch of gameplay videos of Steam Next Fest games, some of which I was responsible for creating. And I'm not working on a review right now. It's kind of slow in the reviews world, so I'm waiting for some games to come on. I think my next review is going to be Power World 1.0, which I think starts its review cycle soon. So I'm going to start that game fresh and probably put at least like 80, 100 hours into it, which will be cool. And if you didn't see my updated review of Crimson Desert already went live, but I finished that a couple weeks ago, and it's no new review, but we're just going to update the old one to say, hey, I played it even more and I still think my review's accurate.
So just getting some fresh death threats.
Pretty much. Actually, Tom messaged me a while. He's like, are we doing this for a reason? Like, is there... I was like, Tom, you asked me to do this. He was like, I just want to make sure we're publishing this for a reason.
Are you feeling lonely? Are you just looking for some attention?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But other than that, what am I working on next? You can watch my Last Word final swan song video. It was fun to see those guys and hang out. And I was probably in some other stuff that I already forgot about. That's it.
Fair enough.
That's what I got.
Cool. Chat, you've been awesome today. Community, thank you for the generosity today. Thank you for hanging out with us. Always appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you're having a good day or good evening planned. Enjoy your gaming as always. And we will see you next Sunday. Till then, peace.